Look at that view. Take it in while you can, folks. The Barkley Fall Classic is a true test of physical endurance and mental determination. Set at Frozen Head State Park in eastern Tennessee, this 50K foot race through the mountains is so much more, and the 2025 course would be a bit different than prior years. Walking towards Packet Pickup, we already knew the start-finish would be at the prison for the first time ever. But what would that mean for the course layout? A key aspect to BFC is that runners don't know the route they'll be taking until the day before the race. A cloth map is handed out and everyone starts poring over it.
At least it should be spread out at that point.
It's easier to go this way and either down Rat Jaw or quit and go down this road here.
I've got about 1,900 calories that I'll be carrying, and then I'll probably I'll just hit whatever off the
I like to just refill from the aid stations.
We're gonna have a lot of food.
Thanks, that's super helpful.
After chatting with some fellow morons, we headed to our Airbnb, where we'd continue talking all things BFC.
This is my third attempt at the Barkley Fall Classic. My first year I did it was a straight up DNF, timed out halfway up Rat Jaw. And then last year was back out here, got a marathon finish, which is still technically a DNF. So 0 finishes, but hoping that changes this year.
This is going to be my 4th year here in 2025. I have gotten a marathon finish all 3 of those times, so technically a DNF. Closest I've ever been was in 2024 when I missed the cutoff by only 2 minutes. That was tough.
The 2025 course looks to be pretty brutal. There's a lot of climbing on the back end, especially around some of the big named climbs and one of the more difficult trail climbs in the park. It's definitely going to be challenging. I think, you know, there's a park loop. Honestly, I don't think it's going to be that bad outside of one section, but once we get through that, it's going to get real interesting.
It's gonna be brutal. We were aware of the prison start and there's only so many places you can go from there, so all points lead to steep. There's a big loop involved that I'm excited about. We're gonna be hitting the park trails and stuff. Near the end, it's gonna be a little tough. After what felt like just a moment of sleep, it was time to get ready.
Morning of the race was pretty standard.
We woke up at 5 a.m. We'd already laid stuff out the night before, so just had to get dressed.
Made the 30-ish minute drive over to the prison because, you know, it's a prison start this year. Kyle and I got over there and pulled up and immediately saw how long the bathroom line was, which I guess was probably an omen of the day. So race started, we did a big loop around the prison property. Did get kind of backed up where there was like a little bridge that we had to get across.
So we started up a steep route, hit a long conga line that slowed things down immensely.
Did that together all day. We finished within 3 minutes. That's just to kind of. What's up, man? There's a hole there.
You moved all the rocks for us, right? It was a pretty small trail, pretty steep. Not one of the typical climbs that I've been on in previous years, but then we kind of came up and got onto one of the major climbs that's very well known.
Slowed it down a bit, but we kept moving when we could, so it took that big climb. Going up the fire tower after climbing Rat Jaw is always so much fun. Got our bibs punched at the first location.
The next few miles were very runnable. Jeep road, a lot of downhill and flat. That's where I thought I was gonna bank time, but actually I was trying to make up time because we'd lost so much like sitting around waiting. But Kyle was right behind me. We were sticking together through that section. Got to the next aid station, refueled, and then that's kind of where we jumped onto the single track in the park. And
grabbed a stick because we were heading up, and now we're heading right back down. I'm gonna hold on to it though through this section. I know I'm gonna want it. for some of the steeper parts, like chimney top. So this will be the one for now. Not a bad stick.
We did a section of trail that I hadn't been on before, and it was kind of some ups and downs, but there was a huge climb that I was not expecting. I knew there was gonna be a climb, but I didn't think it was gonna be as big as it was, and it kept going and going.
It was probably coming up on 4 hours into the race. Stomach just started taking a turn, and pretty quickly, because I told Scott, I was like, I think I'm gonna puke. Almost to the top, but I think something's about to come up, so I'm gonna step off. And when we got up there, I immediately went across the trail and just started throwing up into the woods. The medic was right next to me. He got up and walked away, and I understand why. It was pretty gross. I got to the top and I was like, that's it. You'll have a good one.
Unfortunately, at this race, there's no time to wait around on anybody, so I don't even know if I said anything to Kyle, but I just kept running and left him behind, and we didn't see each other again for hours.
On the park road, I lost Kyle a little while ago, hoping he can puke and rally.
Got onto another section, which is probably my least favorite trail in the entire park. Lots of climbing. I'm sure knowing that I don't like this section has probably influenced what happened.
Had a pretty low spot. Feeling a little bit better, but going downhill now, so it could just be because I'm going downhill. But we will start climbing here in a few again and see how things go. About 5 hours and 37 minutes in, so still feel okay, but just been battling through some low spots. Still no sign of Kyle, so hopefully he's back there somewhere trying to rally.
I wasn't moving quickly. I was basically walking / shuffling just because I was having a hard time, but kept going. When I got to the next aid station, this is where I could drop.
Bus is right there. I could get on, take it back to the start finish and call it a day. I don't think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna press on, keep going. Like Tara said, came a long way from LA to be here. Just gotta keep moving.
I think it's my turnaround. Heading up chimney top, and this is possibly gonna break me.
I was kind of by myself pushing through. There's a section eventually where you come off switchbacks and the trail just basically goes straight up a ridge, and got to the top of that.
Just finished up one of the more brutal climbs on the park trails. Trying to recover a little bit before I try to run again. Pretty steep down right now anyway, but had some low points, but feeling a slight bit better, at least for now, but we'll see. We're 6.5 hours in. No sign of Kyle still, but I have faith that he's back there somewhere trying to make it happen, so check in later.
Started feeling a little bit better, I think mentally, just knowing I had the worst part behind me. That last section of trail before you get back to the Tub Springs aid station is just feels like it's never gonna end. There's not a whole lot of climbing in there. There are some sections, but a lot of it's runnable, so I was running what I could. And then finally I come over and I look off to my right and I see this huge climb.
Climbing again, a little less steep this time. I think I might have heard Kyle's voice earlier, but never could see him, so could have just been hearing things. But trying to make our way back over toward Rat Jaw. This course is rough.
I was cursing myself for having continued on. It would have been easy to just walk back down the trail, but I didn't want to do that. I figured let's just keep pushing. Yeah, Don't have a lot to say. Mentally a little fatigued. So just trying to keep moving one foot in front of the other. The best I can do out here right now. So I kept moving along. In this section, I've called people out in the past. It's a lot of leaning on trees and stuff, and I was that person this year. I spent a lot of time stopping on this section just to catch a breath and try and keep pressing on.
Got into that aid station. The guys from the football team at all the aid stations were amazing, but Tub Springs are always great there too. And so we had to descend back down to the prison.
All right, descending rat jaw. Still haven't seen Kyle. Gonna have to put the camera away here in a second or I'm gonna fall. But here's rat jaw.
There was some confusion about the map.
All right, made it down rat jaw. We're in the prison. I have to go over here, go over the wall, and then try to get some clarification on where decision point is, because the map is a little confusing and there's a possibility we gotta go back up rat jaw before decision point. If that's the case, there's no way I'm making that, so try to get some clarification.
Still working our way up chimney top. Oh my gosh, this little rock section here. Climbing. Kept moving and got to the next aid station, which was Tub Springs. We had hit it prior already. Did a quick turnaround there and kept going. Had to get the bib punched again before starting to descent down a very steep section. All right, we're on rat jaw here. Hopefully I don't fall and drop this fucking camera. It's so hard to get perspective of like I try and show this on video, photo, anything. It's like, you gotta come do it, all right? Like, that's the only way.
A couple of the guys bailed immediately. Another guy and I like went around the prison, over the prison wall, through the tunnel, which is always fun. I got down to the aid station. I talked to 2 different people, got confirmation from both sources that we didn't have to go up rat jaw. We just had to do the out and back. And so I was like, all right, I've got over 4 hours.
Leaving the prison, so I'm gonna go tackle this last part of the course, which is gonna be pretty brutal, but there's no more time cut off, so unless something goes super sideways, should get another marathon finish. So check in here in a little bit once we get off the road.
Made it down to the bottom of that section, and then from where I was on the hill, I could see Scott down by the aid station, or like walking to where the aid station was. So I was like, oh, he's not that far in front. To me then realizing once I reached the bottom of the hill that I actually had to go out and around the prison and over, and I was like, oh, actually he is further ahead of me than I thought. So when I got there though, I saw Trent, who actually was a lifesaver for me on this whole trip. Due to some travel issues, he stepped up and helped me get from Nashville to Wartburg on the day before the race. So really appreciate him. Trying to make my flight, which departs in 5 minutes. So I'm guessing it's already boarded. Oh shit. And things are opening up on me. Oh, my backpack opened up while I was running. So now I'm carrying it. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. Don't want to lose my computer while I'm running. That would have sucked. But like 10 more gates. Will the plane still be there? I did not make it in time. So now to figure out the rebooking and see what happens. Fun. Well, there's only one flight from Miami to Knoxville every day, and that's not till 9:35 p.m. So I wouldn't arrive until basically midnight tomorrow night, and then get up and go run a few hours later. So changed my flight to Nashville, and I'll get in tomorrow morning. But now Scott's gonna have to drive out there, pick me up 3 hours each direction, barring he doesn't have any issues, and then I'm just stuck in Nashville. All right, boarding a flight to Nashville.
where I think I may have a ride. I threw out a request on the Barkley Fall Classic Facebook group, and someone said they're going to be leaving Nashville around noon, heading to Wartburg. Let's see if that happens. Woo. Trent has arrived. Got ourselves a vehicle. Let's go.
I saw him at this aid station. He was like, you have like nearly 4 hours to do this section. You can get it done. And I took off from there.
Started and that's actually where I linked up with this woman, Tara, who's from Long Beach, and she talked to Kyle earlier and started talking about how he was doing. She was asking me, and I was like, I don't know. He was puking. I haven't seen him in hours and hours, and I was like, I don't know if he's still out there. I don't know what's going on. So we started the climb together. We're chatting for a while about kids and stuff, and then I eventually got ahead of her.
Descending down to the final aid station. There's Coke and ice down there, assuming it's still there when I get there.
Got out to the aid station, which amazingly they had Coke. Sat down on the side of the road, drank some Coke. Tara came in, I slammed some salt pills, kind of talked to her for a minute, and I was like, hey, I'll see you at the finish, and I headed out.
Finally hit a huge climb. The sun was coming down on me pretty hard at this point. Really was contemplating just stopping, going back downhill and taking it in for a DNF. But there was talk of Coca-Cola on the other side of the hill. I just had to get up and down. I could get some Coca-Cola. So I pressed on, made it to the top, started the descent down to the other side, and while heading downhill, I bumped into Scott for the first time since we had parted ways.
All right, so I did see Kyle. He was headed toward the aid station on my way out. He's puking and having a hard time keeping things down, but he's still on the course, and he's got over 2 hours to get back, so hoping he's gonna get a finish.
Like, I was so happy to see that he was still out there, and so he was in a really bad spot. He was like, I don't think I can make it. I don't think I can make it. And I was like, dude, you got 2 hours and actually I told him 2 hours and 40 minutes, but I was wrong. It was 2:20, which luckily the woman behind me corrected me.
He tried to motivate me by telling me how much time I had left and I could just walk this out. So I kept moving, got down, had a cup of Coca-Cola, filled my flask with Coca-Cola, and then took some oranges that they had there, ate 2, took 3 to go, and hit the road.
Started back up that last climb.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, good job.
Got this monstrosity in front of us, which is interesting and hard.
Started descending the other side, and at that point, because my knee was hurting so bad, I feel like I was probably descending as slow as I was ascending.
So now I had still a few hours left where I could just have to go uphill and back down and then take it into the finish.
Oh yeah, the Coca-Cola was a lifesaver because I needed, watch out for that coming up there. It was a lifesaver because I needed something. I kept throwing up any food I was taking in, so. Go for it. Get it.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, sorry.
Got off that climb and ended up talking with a guy from Ontario. It was his first time out at the race. And we got out to the paved road where there was a decline, and I was like, dude, I can't run this, it hurts too much. So he took off, and I told him I'd see him at the finish line.
All right, final stretch to the finish. I'm on pavement going downhill. My knee will not let me run right now, so just hiking it, and if we get some flat stuff, I might try to jog in and finish this thing up, but gonna get a marathon finish, which earlier today I wasn't sure if that was gonna happen. So gonna go finish this up and then wait on Kyle, because I think he's gonna get a marathon finish too.
I was running with Dan and I believe Stacy was her name, and we had a good section together where we were moving.
All right, despite all the throwing up and not being able to keep anything down, making good time now on the final descent, heading in for another marathon finish.
Looks like the Croix will once again elude me, but got a little crew here we're running with, and we're gonna get this done. We have like an hour and a half still, roughly, so and not that far to go. A lot of downhill too, which is great. And it levels out and take her into the finish. But might even make it back before sunset.
So when I finally got out of the road where it's flat, I was able to do some like walk jog.
There's the finish line straight ahead. Just gotta go down the road, turn into the prison drive, and collect some dog tags.
Laz punched my bib and I ran it in.
Hit the road, and I decided I'm just gonna walk it in. So as I was walking, a little bit ahead of me, I see Chad, who had helped me out earlier in the day. I was like, all right, let's take this in together. So I shuffled, I got moving, trying to catch up to Chad in orange there. He has been there for me all day. We had a lot of good chats, very motivating guy. I'd like to try and get across there with him. I'm fine with walking, but let's catch him. My friend.
Yeah!
Let's get this done.
Nice. Crushing finish.
Yeah.
Your first go?
Like,
Finish?
no, this will be my fourth marathon finish. I just can't get the fucking Croix.
Amazing.
But I'm ready to walk it in.
That's cool. Nice to meet you.
We took it into the finish. Woo!
Thank you.
Marathons all around, marathon men right here.
Good job, guys.
Cross the finish line correct. Thanks, buddy.
You're happy with the marathon?
Not at all. I was just happy to get it done though this year. Holy shnikes.
It was the easiest course we've ever had. People have talked about that all day.
Last year I missed the cutoff by 2 minutes, and I was like, oh, this is the year. It was not. Lo and behold, it was not the year.
Thought I had plenty of time to go drop my stuff off at the car before Kyle came in. I got like halfway over to the car, waddling over, and I looked up and I see Kyle walking down the road with a couple other people. So I like had to make my way back over, make sure I saw him finish.
Shoot in the marathon, it's Kyle Molador from Playa del Rey, California. Chad Lynema from Knoxville, Tennessee. Scott Walker, Caerphilly, Great Britain, and Mark McKeever from Powell, Tennessee. 12 hours, 18 minutes and change.
And you know, definitely wasn't the Croix we were hoping for, but I think we realized pretty early on that marathon finish was going to be a huge accomplishment this year with the course, and you know that looking at the amount of finishers, which was like 5%, technically a little less than 5%. I'm pretty proud of my marathon finish.
Despite not getting the Croix, I'm walking away happier than I have been in past years based on how hard it was. So got across the finish line, saw Scott, I collapsed, and then watched some people come in. We saw Tara finish it out, which was awesome. And in the end, it was just another great year at BFC, and got to come back for another one.
And then the day after the race, we had to go to Moco Brewing and hung out with a whole bunch of people. Had a great time just having beers and sharing stories with everybody. And overall, like, would have loved the Croix, but it was a great year.
Since a big aspect of BFC is the people you meet, we asked our new moronic friends about their experiences.
My name is Michelle Young. It is the most beautifully brutal course a girl could ever succumb to.
Hi, I'm Anders from Stockholm, Sweden. And this has been a great experience. I'd like to thank Lars and all the volunteers, and I will be back. Thank you.
Hardest thing I've ever done, but I want to do it again. I'll be back.
Omar Martinez from Colombia. Definitely 2026, we need to come back and try it again. Was brutal and was so nice.
Yeah, I'm Steven from Belgium. Barkley was fantastic. It was difficult, mind-blowing. I underestimated the whole thing, which made it even more fantastic than I thought it would ever be. See you next year.
Hi, my name is Jurgen, captain also from Belgium, 51 years old. It's my first time in the BFC. Steven invited me for running with him. In the beginning, he told hiking with him, but it was a great experience for me to the first time in the BFC. Maybe, certainly, I come back next year and we meet each other.
Frozen Head wins again, but we got another marathon finish.
4 marathon finishes for me here, and still, unfortunately, I was the loser.
And I was also the loser.
Well, that's the way it happens. So, until next time,
crush trails
and drink ales.